Welcome to the webinar. My name is Steve Bowles and I run business development for Ephesoft. Today I want to share with you some exciting new developments you may have seen in the press. This month, Ephesoft launched a new concept along with a beta of our first phase of a revolutionary product. We will introduce context-driven productivity and our new web-based contextual productivity platform, Semantic. So I always like to level set when introducing a new concept. In this case, core and central to all we'll discuss today is focused on contextual data. So let's take a look at the word context. The circumstances that form the setting for an event, statement, or idea, and in terms of which it can be fully understood and assessed. Put the bold section into your heads for the rest of the webinar. How can we as users be more productive with contextual data? First, let's examine the problem. We have all seen the statistics on the data growth problem in the enterprise and the impact it's having in many areas. CIOs and C-level executives and organizations get that issue. But where does context come into play? In our 10 years in providing document-centered automation solutions, we noticed something. Time and time again, users had just a piece of the puzzle, and with data missing, they just didn't have the context to get their jobs done effectively. This image is a prime example. Think of how many times per day you app or tab switch to get your job done. We've just accepted the fact that flipping from tab to tab, opening app to app, and copying data from here to there is just the way we do business. I call it the gathering. Go to or use one system, get data set or bit of info A, go to the next system, and use that data to find more data, and on across systems. We as humans have this method on how to gather data for context wrapped in our heads as experience, and the application of this experience is quite complex. When organizations try and transfer this to bots or other systems, it creates a whole new problem and requires constant exception processing. Think of how much time is wasted on these gathering efforts. And this problem's not isolated. Look across the organization and you'll find the contextual data problem is blocking productivity across the organization, in accounting with invoices, in HR with onboarding, in sales with order processing, in legal with contracts. This broad inefficiency when it comes to processes and context is pervasive in most organizations, large and small. It's the contextual problem that is one of the core reasons for broader failures. Without context, you're limited in what you can achieve and hindered in your goals for automation. There are some fairly disturbing numbers put out by McKinsey on the failure rates of both digital transformation projects and RPA projects. Automating a bad process or trying to transform a large department where users and systems don't have the data they need just doesn't set you up for success. It just replicates what you have today and moves it from a physical broken process to one that's now digital. There has to be a better way. So you may be asking yourself, is context really that critical? Is it really worth the effort? If in our processes we just take into account that the flat two-dimensional data we have in hand, it not only affects our productivity, but also will have us make decisions without the full 360-degree view. Take, for example, the hiring process. If you deal with this process at any level, you know it can be a massive time consumer. Day to day, as you look at resumes and think of the time you spend on interviews, only to find out later there's hidden issues or factors that rule out candidates. It's frustrating. So let's take a look at this problem. I receive a resume that looks fantastic. The individual checks all the boxes, but if all I have is the flat data on the document, and I'm constrained to just the resume information, it can lack all the enriched data that sits outside of this constraint. I don't know that her resume doesn't match LinkedIn, that she's a frequent flyer when it comes to applying to our company, that we're bound by a hidden paragraph in our partnership agreement for non-solicitation, and we can't hire her. She also has a legal history, her father's chairman of the board of our largest client, and her passport has expired. This is for an international travel position. That context is all missing today. If we examine the levels of enterprise autonomy in the journey to the highest level of automation, We at Ephesoft have built a staged progression. Organizations and their different departments can be at any stage, some doing some basic task and process automation, and others at advanced levels. But one thing is constant. There's a wall that prevents us from reaching higher levels if you lack context and don't have the enriched data and understanding to truly begin to learn all the information required for a task or process. This wall prevents access to knowledge for humans, digital workers, and systems, so they can't make decisions real time and hit the highest levels of productivity. If we tear down this wall, it can free process from human involvement, allowing workers to focus on higher value tasks for the organization. So how do we fix it all? How can we apply a stronger methodology to process learning and autonomy to reach the highest levels of the autonomous journey? Ephesoft has introduced a new way of examining the context problem called context-driven productivity, or CDP for short. Let's take a look at what CDP means for the organization and take a quick overview. In our vision, the enterprise has the means to provide contextual data to all humans, digital workers, and systems, and it changes the game and removes the contextual wall. Context-driven productivity takes a new and innovative approach to acquire data from existing processes, enrich that data, and finally amplify the value of that data to increase productivity. It's not a product or a technology, but a framework to reach the highly autonomous processes with a focus on providing a 360-degree view of all the information to understand and make fully informed decisions through the presentation of timely, enriched data. CDP consists of 3 core pillars that provide a foundation to understand a process or task, all its required data, and then leverage that info today and hold it for the future and continue to grow and expand context and usage. Those pillars are here on the screen: acquire, enrich, and amplify. So how do we build context? Is it just a matter of collecting data? The answer is no. If that was the case, it would be easy. The best way to explain the required underlying technology is to think about a crime board. Everyone has seen a CSI show or one where they're trying to connect the dots to find a murderer or a criminal. That crime board is a simple example of the complex technology behind the scenes and what the CDP methodology can build. Essentially, it's a series of links and relationships between entities and their attributes. In this case, we know where the murder weapon was found, we know its manufacturer, and the DNA associated with it. We can start to gather how it all fits together. This physical crime board is what runs under the hood of our new platform that enables context-driven productivity. So to truly and fully enable CDP, we need some new and innovative technology. We need a semantic acquisition engine, one that provides enrichment-enabled data. We need the ability to enrich data and create relationships and links. We'll build a knowledge graph, also known as that digital crime board. And then we want to amplify the result: easy access to acquired knowledge through secure and shared services. So we've seen the problem. We've talked about context-driven productivity. What is Ephesoft doing to solve the problem and improve productivity in organizations? I'll now give you an overview of our new platform and vision to help customers drive deep knowledge of their core processes and improve user productivity. Semantic will address all the key pillars in context-driven productivity through a robust set of tools directed at improving the acquisition and creation of semantic data, the enrichment of that data through internal and external sources, and the means to leverage that data across the enterprise. By providing enrichment-ready data at the front of the process, strong context can be built and saved into a knowledge graph to provide human and digital workers with an extensive means to complete tasks and processes quickly and automatically. If we look under the hood, we have the technical infrastructure to create that digital crime board and building context through AI using data entities, links, and broad relationships. The end result is what is called an enterprise knowledge graph that contains a map providing a 360-degree view over time of anything the organization deals with on a day-to-day basis. If we bring back our background check example that was hindered by the context barrier, we now have full access to the extended story of this young lady's resume. We have a clear 360-degree view of all the data, how it's related, and can create full context and understanding so effective decisions can be made quickly without that gathering being required. The end result is to provide a single pane of glass view of compiled context that users can access and that systems and digital workers have available in digital form. The pane is a visual-looking glass into the entities, links, and relationships that are formed through enriched data, providing all the information to complete a process or task. So what's available today and how can Semantic help now and in the near future? At Ephesoft, we've mapped out a phased journey to support context-driven productivity initiatives worldwide. It will be a journey and focused on the 3 pillars of CDP: acquire, enrich, and amplify. We started with a focus on acquisition and taken our history and document capture as a focus for use cases and providing solutions. We've built a platform and all the components to look at document content in a new way through brand new machine learning models and extract not only the data of interest, but also to create a virtual semantic map of content that goes through the system. This digital fingerprint is enrichment ready, semantic data teed up for our next phase, but also has the ability to be leveraged today for specific acquisition point solutions. It just so happens the first solution is invoice processing and is currently in beta for those interested in testing. It's our intent to make this available for several ERPs in generic output at the time of release. I want to emphasize, this is not just another single point solution that's being brought to market. We've built a solid foundation to meet context-driven productivity acquire requirements as phases develop, a foundation for future productivity solutions for almost instant ROI and automation. Here's a quick view of the Semantic invoice solution and its primary screens. Simple and easy to use, and our goal is to have a solution that requires little to no training, but provides extensive value for customers and partners. So where do Ephesoft's other products fit into the whole CDP equation? Will they be discontinued? Is there a future for them in the broader plan? It's our intent to integrate existing Ephesoft Transact into the phases of Semantic to provide extensive and enhanced capabilities in both the acquire and enrich phases. It can today provide flexible and extensible acquire capabilities, and as time goes on, it will leverage the Semantic stack and the benefits of this new technology. With our new context-driven productivity mindset, we are also starting to leverage our fuzzy database, web services lookup, and plugin architecture to provide enhanced enrichment of data during an acquire process. In addition, Transact can provide data labeling capabilities to enhance semantic models and provide clean, accurate data sets to AI initiatives. If you aren't familiar with our data labeling capabilities in this area, please contact us. It's a fast emerging market for our technology. So now we'll move on to the demo. So let's take a look at Semantic for invoices and how it delivers on the first pillar of CDP. A quick note, this is the beta version and is not the GA version of the product. So I started off by sending in some invoices prior to this webinar. Currently, the platform provides a designated email address for each tenant for receiving invoices. So you can provide this to suppliers, you can forward invoices here, and configure scanning devices to send scans right from the device panel. So now that we've got a couple headed to the queue, let's go ahead and log in. As mentioned, that was the initial login page, all web-based. We're running a multi-tenant cloud solution, so each member of the AP staff can have their own login for team-based processing. When I log in, I immediately see the dashboard view. It shows me a quick overview of invoice processing statistics, and down below are the invoices assigned to me, and another tab with all the invoices and their status. If I switch to this All Invoices tab, you can see that I've got a couple queued up for status new. When there are new invoices in the system, I can click Claim Invoices, and all the invoices are brought into what we call the review screen to examine extraction results provided by the model. A quick overview of this interface. It's divided into 3 sections: the document thumbnail view, the document viewer, and then the data view. You can see the model is quite confident on the things it's extracted, and these numbers actually link to the areas on the document where the information was extracted. So it's pretty confident on just about all the fields, with the exception of the tax amount. You can see it's still pretty high confidence, and we actually extracted it correctly. Okay. With the model trained and tested on high volumes of invoices, both simple and complex, the time to value is really short, and you can have this solution up and running in a matter of hours, not months, days, or weeks. Right now, we've got field-based extraction. The table extraction is actually coming soon. We'll have that ready for GA here in about a month. And then Phase 2 and Phase 3 offer enhanced capabilities from a table AI perspective. So when I'm all done with this invoice, I click Mark as Reviewed, and it goes right off to the next invoice. So it's really easy to get through a big set of invoices quickly and simply. So this was just a quick overview of the first point solution on the Semantic platform. Behind the scenes, there's a lot going on, and in the upcoming release, the output will not only be sent to your system of record, but will also go into graph storage, where in the future, we'll start building those relationships and links and that 360-degree view, so you can build some really neat solutions around all different types of process data. So that's the end of this webinar. If you have any questions, come to ephesoft.com, contact us, and you can dig in and see some more of the solution in the future today. Thank you.